Hello and welcome to my easy to understand guide to the Vamps music video Somebody to You featuring Demi Lovato. This video is going to be particularly relevant for you if you are studying OCR GCSE Media Studies, as it currently appears as an optional set text on that specification. In this video I'm going to focus on everything from media language, representation and audience. So the setting for this video is clearly a beach environment. It seems very chilled out with a seascape. It feels like a very romantic summer scene. We get the band playing football and they point to the camera. It's very engaging for an audience. It draws us in, makes us feel as though we are there and that they want to hang out with us as the audience. We get lots of cross-cutting here between the band and a group of girls, and in particular one girl, and whenever they sing that word you, it kind of cuts to the girls, and so it really makes it feel as though there's a romance narrative here going on, where the band lead singer is kind of falling in love with one of the girls in this group. There's some slow motion shots here of the girl dancing in the waves, and that creates a kind of objectified, sexualized image of her being there for the viewing pleasure of the audience and of the band themselves. The performance scenes of the music video, where the band are performing on some kind of small stage on the beach, add to this idea of them being quite skilled because they're playing their own instruments, and we see lots of close-ups of that. We also get their brand logo of the Vamps on the drum kit as well, which adds to their identity. And we get some lovely low angle shots of them, making them feel quite powerful. They're wearing black leather jackets and things like that, which makes them feel a little bit rebellious, a little bit powerful, a little bit dangerous. And those kind of representations often appeal quite a lot to young girls. The women in the audience are definitely there to be looked at. So they are objectified. Even the lead singer sings, "You caught my eye." So it's very much about the girls' appearances catching the eye of these boys in the band. Again, we got lots of football shots here, creating this idea of typical masculinity, and we get kind of like juggling their drumsticks, like showing off essentially, kind of trying to impress the people around them. The fast cuts help make it feel very energetic, and we get these scenes of a volleyball match where they're all kind of playing together, adds this sense of community, like a fun party. Lots of the girls here are in bikinis, which again adds to that sexualized representation of them. So far, the beach and all the other scenes we've seen have felt very American, kind of Californian perhaps. And then we see the shots of them having a kind of picnic with these red cups. And those red drinking cups often act as this kind of symbol for us of American parties. We often see them in things like teen movies. So the red cups really make it clear that this is supposed to be America. And this is perhaps reflective of the fact that despite being a British band, at this point in time, they were trying to break into the American market. And this single was the single that they were going to release as their debut single in America. So using lots of American iconography, first of all, makes them seem quite aspirational and exciting to British audiences, but also adds this idea of relatability for American audiences who they were trying to engage as well. Of course, another way of trying to engage an American audience is by featuring another artist, and this collaboration, this featuring of Demi Lovato helps to attract a wider audience here as well. Demi Lovato is of course also part of the Island record label, same as the Vamps, so it makes sense that they were both put together for collaborations. Now, it's important to note that Demi Lovato considers herself non-binary, and she refers to herself as genderqueer. In the past, she has kind of gone between different pronouns, and certainly in the past, when she made this music video, she was using she, her pronouns. After this music video, and perhaps more recently, she was using they, them pronouns. But at the time of recording this video, she's gone back to using she, her pronouns. So that's why I'm using she, her now. Of course, because she considers herself to be kind of quite fluid in terms of her gender, she may well change her pronouns again in the future. But that's just to explain why I'm using the she, her pronouns now. She's featured in quite a lot of kind of soft focus shots, lots of her kind of dancing around, smiling to the camera. She's wearing kind of white top and lots of jewellery. She does look quite feminine, but it's not like a typically kind of girly feminine. Like, she's not as sexualized as the other females in the narrative. You know, she's fully clothed for a start, so she's not there to be objectified. She's not wearing, you know, pinks and purples. She's kind of got some quite kind of rocky jewelry on as well, and some rock kind of style makeup. So it perhaps adds this idea of her being quite a complex representation of femininity, as opposed to the more simplified stereotypes of the women in the narrative. We get some shots of the boys jumping in the pool, they're sticking their tongue out, they're acting kind of silly, they've got lots of floats. It's very youthful and fun and energetic, and that's going to appeal particularly to a teenage audience. There's a lot of shots of them on the beach and by the pool with their tops off. So it's not actually just the women who are sexualised, the actual band members are being sexualised too. And again, that might be to attract both female and male audiences. And it also reflects the genre as well, because the pop genre in particular, which they're kind of pop rock band, they do tend to sexualise the band members in that quite a lot. We get lots of nighttime shots here of the party that they're having, and that makes it feel very exciting. And we do see shots of a kind of audience of girls dancing around, singing, watching them, which makes it feel as though the band are quite idolised and famous and loved. Demi Lovato is now seen kind of in amongst more pink, floaty, feminine curtains, although never actually in the same shots as the Vamps, which I'm guessing is probably because they were filmed separately and just cut together. Lots of low angle shots of the band here performing makes them seem quite powerful and important. And lots of high angle shots of the women watching the band, making them seem far less important. So the setting and the representations are quite aspirational, you know, people having fun on a beach, partying, you know, finding love. It's very kind of like a dream lifestyle, particularly for a lot of young people. It is quite heteronormative in the way it represents people. So, you know, for example, it is male-female relationships, male-female crushes. And again, that's quite normal for a pop video. They do tend to focus on quite heteronormative relationships. There's also quite a lack of diversity in terms of ethnicity as well. You know, the girls all look very similar. Lots of young, thin, white women who are all kind of quite generically pretty, you know, blondes and brunettes. So it kind of really does lack diversity. And potentially, again, unfortunately, this is quite conventional of the pop genre and of the music industry as a whole. The media industry often does tend to underrepresent people from ethnic minorities and people of other body types, for example. So unfortunately, this does reflect a wider trend within the media industry. So that was my easy to understand guide to the Vamps Somebody to You. Don't forget to check out my channel for other videos that are going to be relevant for you. And if you would like a video that I don't already have, just leave a little comment below and I'll see what I can do.